After a hectic week in crypto, both Solana and Caspa seem as if they could be in positions to possibly see their prices fall over the next few days or, well, the next few weeks. And so as a result of that, I wanted to give you quick 2 or 3 minute updates on each one just so that you knew what to look out for as we do approach the weekend and, well, what we can do about it. And so with that said, we're not going to waste any more time at all, and we're going to get straight into today's video, starting off with Caspa. Now, in the last few weeks, we've been talking about Caspa and exactly what its price has been doing. The biggest thing that I told you all was that we needed to absolutely be careful of what is happening currently at that 0.0525 level, and the reason being quite simply because if this level does not get broken, if we do get forced to the downside off this level, Caspa could be in a position in which it does start to revisit some of these lower 0.02 to 0.03 levels. I know we don't want that to happen, and people are going to say that is impossible because this thing has only gone up for the last year, but the moment people start talking like that, well, that's whenever the shockers come, okay? And so with that in mind, I've been constantly reminding you all, we have one main option right now, and that option is to find support on this ascending level of support and use it to get pushed above that 0.052 level. And although that is well within the realm of possibilities, and it definitely can happen, there are some struggles in the way for Caspa here that I wanted to show you. What we can see is that currently Caspa is starting to just simply lose momentum. It's not all that hard to understand, it's simply just starting to lose momentum. Now, the reason that I say it's losing momentum is because of what we are seeing now that this pullback is starting to happen. What you can see here is that back in, roughly between September and the beginning of October, we got a ton of double tops forming, right? We got this double top here. We got a mini double top here if you remove that parabolic curve. We got a more macro double top that is forming right here, right? All of these things were just pressure from the seller side, which of course did force the price down. But now that this pullback is happening, we are just consistently not getting enough momentum to beat these higher levels. What you can see here is that as Caspa's price has now risen back up towards the bottom side of this double top, which is a key level of support, we just absolutely failed at clearing it, right? This thing immediately formed into resistance, and now we got to try to reload, then try to break back above it, right? Taking even more bullish momentum to get there. This level in this area also generally coincides with what we are seeing on our Fibonacci's, right? Let's go ahead and just get this thing pulled out. Boom. If we pull this out and kind of take a look here, we're sitting directly at the 618 to 786 resistance level, and we are failing to clear it. That's another sign to go to show that, okay, well now we need to reload, then try to use even more bullish pressure to get above that level, okay? And if you look at what is happening on the daily, or the 4-hour chart prime oscillator, it backs that up. The moment that we got even close to any of these key resistance levels, we immediately started putting in overbought readings, rare reversal triangles, bearish momentum dots, blue drives of bearish divergence. These are all the things that go to show, okay, Caspa is clearly struggling the moment we get up to any type of, bearish liquidity, okay? And so because of that, it's just not that same Caspa that we saw historically that was pushing up through these key levels of resistance, and that's normal, okay? And I want to remind people of that. That's normal. That's not something you need to be worried about or concerned about. The higher this thing goes up to, the bigger that it gets, the further into this market it gets, it is going to have these moments where it's, of course, going to be harder for it to make these parabolic moves. That's not what I'm concerned about, okay? What I'm concerned about at this given point is that it may need a more general macro reset, which does involve its price getting broken down below this ascending level of support that's approaching. And then, of course, that could be another pull of 20 to 30% to the downside. That's not off the table, okay? So at this given point with Caspa, the biggest warning that I just want to issue is what we are seeing between, of course, our key level of resistance at 0.052 and this ascending level of support. This little triangle that you can see here, let me draw it out for you. This little triangle is absolutely crucial for what will happen with Caspa for what I believe to be of the following 2 to 4 months from when it breaks out of this triangle. I think there's a substantial chance that if we do get a break to the downside out of this, we could come back down as low as 0.032, which I think would be a fantastic buying opportunity because the likelihood is we would get a strong reversal off of that. But if we do break towards the upside here, we could see Caspa go as far as 9 cents to the upside. So obviously that is a huge swing in either direction that we need to watch out for because you simply just never know what's going to happen, okay? So I wanted to just give you a quick warning and a quick update. Like, listen, we keep losing momentum every time we're getting up to these key levels of resistance. It's taking a lot of bullish momentum to clear it, which is forcing our charts to get overbought. So maybe we are struggling a bit and you just need to get very, very, kind of ready that some type of move to the downside could be on the way. But what I would say, of course, I'm not selling, I'm not doing anything like that. That's crazy. I'm just dollar cost averaging at this point, especially when we get to key levels of support like we did back here, because realistically it could find support and then clear that that level, and then again, we're still looking good to the upside. So just a warning, mini warning, just saying, we're losing momentum when we get to these key levels of resistance, and that could be a sign that a pullback is on the way. Now, let's talk about what is happening over on Solana, and well, it is a little bit more grim. Okay, it's a little bit more grim in my opinion. Oh, one second, real quick, before we get into that, I wanted to update you on something. Now, I think it was a month ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, I told you all there was a crypto that I was going to invest in. As it did start to get closer to its launch, I would update you on more information just to tell you if I am investing into it or not. Of course, you know we like to dabble with some meme coins and micro cap cryptos on the channel here and now, here and there every now and then, okay? And yeah, things are going absolutely fantastic. So today we're talking about Superman really quickly, just to give you an update again. As you remember, I told you they were the crypto that was based around their NFT project that was kind of tied in with Pulse AI. Now, Pulse AI is the trading bot in which they were going to invest the money raised from their NFT raise and then also then reward those NFT holders with the money generated from Pulse AI. Well, they've actually been generating about 0.5% over the last 25 days, which is an absolutely fantastic, sustainable result. And I do believe that because of that, this could be a strong source of just kind of that passive income over and over again, month after month, week after week for its NFT holders. Now, speaking of its NFT holders, I do just want to show you this Sidekick page again really quickly. What you can see here is that this NFT raise has gone really well. Okay, let me let this load up a little bit here, but they started this thing about a month ago roughly, and since then they were capable of raising $25,500 in BUSD over on Sidekick Finance. Now, of course, as a result of this, they've been able to then fund the Pulse AI trading. They've also been able to fund the development of certain things like their staking protocol, which is going to be going live the moment the token launches. Speaking of the token, it is in its pre-sale phase now over on Gympad, which is also the platform in which we are going to see a lot of partnerships and things flourish from over on Superman. Now, another thing that I want to tell you all about is the fact that they are just finishing up their Assured DeFi audits. I know a lot of you guys do look forward to that, especially when these cryptos are this young, simply for the fact that it just provides that extra stability and that mental comfort. And as you can see here, they did recently announce they are proud and excited to announce that their audit has been approved by the verification gold standard Assured DeFi. They of course announced that 6 days ago, and that has now been launched and live now. And as a result, they've also been able to get some PR from the team over at Assure, which they have gotten like 200 or 300 reports released all over the place, which is starting to help grow their name and grow their brand. And another thing kind of driving more people towards the brand is their owner, Krypton Calls Investing. He is a good friend of mine, as I mentioned before. He has been doing a ton of work publicly. Everyone knows who he is. He's fully doxxed. And so, of course, because of that, I do believe they are also finding some success. And so with that in mind, with everything that they have going on right now, I do believe that as they do continue to grow, as they continue to get more and more influencers on board for what they will be developing in the future, that this could be absolutely massive. I think that there's a ton of potential. So I have purchased my own NFTs, and I will be investing into the pre-sale myself. As you guys do know, I like to keep it transparent. And so with that said, I wanted to just give you a quick update on what is happening with that. I don't like to leave you in the dust whenever I tell you about cryptos I want to buy. So of course, there you go. So with that in mind, let's finish off here with Solana. Now, looking at Solana, the reason why I said this thing is a little bit more grim is simply because we are very much so struggling with this double top. Okay. Now, there may be some type of potential that we do break it, and I hope that is the case, but at this given point, that is not the case. Now, not only are we just simply struggling with a structural formation like a double top of this nature, we're also struggling with a ton of liquidity and Fibonacci resistance. What you can see is there's a range between $25 and $27.27, which does form a huge wall of resistance, a wall that we've run into on multiple occasions, and realistically the wall that has kept Solana's price boring all of 2023. Now, this isn't just some random level, of course. As you know, these are structural formations that are generally generated because of liquidity, right? We established some support down here, support here. Of course, this was the level that held before the FTX crash, and it's also the level that held us up in the summer lull of 2021. So of course, when you have such a strong level of support, likelihood is you're going to have an equally strong level of resistance, and that is right around where this double top is forming. Now, another thing you need to pay attention to is this double top is forming right around this Fibonacci 618 to 786 level, which is just another indicator, as you can see here, that there is a huge wall of resistance resistance and bearish liquidity sitting right here. And of course, that's just not a good sign, right? Whenever we're getting some bearish momentum starting to form right at a strong ass level of resistance, at the same time that we're starting to get bearish indications form on its chart, it just kind of goes to show like, oh shit, okay, yeah, we might get a little bit of a pull to the downside here, but of course that's never guaranteed. So at this given point, personally, I'm holding off on buying any Solana. I don't want to be buying while we are just sitting around this $25 to $27 zone. I just don't think it's a good zone to buy in. I'd rather it to get broken out of and hold some support on top of it, because we absolutely will come back down to it if we do break above it. So I'd rather be rebuying knowing that we are holding support than buying right now and just hoping that we don't get forced to the downside. Okay, so with that in mind, I will keep you guys, of course, updated as this does play out. But for Solana personally, I am expecting that the odds here is that a pull towards this ascending level of support does happen. But of course, you can never predict the future. That's just a general guess. But at the end of the day, a warning is sufficient enough to say that, listen, we might see this thing pull back a rather strong amount. This could be a pull of anywhere from 15 to 20% to the downside over the next few days and over the next few months. So with that said, of course, I hope you guys do enjoy these style of updates where I just tell you what I see. I'm not trying to be that crypto god that has this narcissistic issue with just making these random crypto predictions and just hoping I'm right. I'm going to give you the actual details. I'm going to say, look, this is what history says, so this is what is more likely. Do with that as you please, of course. So with that in mind, if you do enjoy these videos, make sure you do let me know down in the comment section below. And well, of course, I will see you on next time. Peace out, everybody.